Uruguay 0, Colombia 1. And then the Euros semifinals that happened before that, Netherlands 1, England 2. So that means that Colombia is going on to the final against Argentina.
What was that? Can you say that again?
Don't worry, I'll say it plenty of times. And England, England is also going on to the final to face Spain. So should we take the Copa America first, Moss? Does that sound good?
Yep, we'll do them in reverse order. The game tonight was in Charlotte. Colombia took the lead through Jefferson Lerma heading in a James Rodriguez corner, his 6th assist of the tournament. And then a fellow Crystal Palace player, Daniel Munoz, got himself sent off late in the first half, so Colombia had to play a man down the whole second half, but they held on. They're off to the final, as you said. There was some ugly scenes at the end of the game, a lot of fighting on the field, spilled over onto the stands. We found out afterwards, Jose Jimenez, Uruguayan defender, said that it had to do with the families of Uruguayan players feeling harassed by Colombian fans. We saw Darwin Nunez jump into the stands, shades of Ron Artest, Malice in the Palace. Although Jack, who's a big Pistons fan, very annoyed that everybody's making that reference. He feels like everyone should move on from that incident. Nevertheless, that is the place that everybody went tonight. So we'll see what happens from there, suspensions and all the rest. But let's not bury the lead here. Colombia is off to the Copa America final, their 3rd final. They're trying to win their 2nd Copa America title. They won it at home in 2001, and now they'll face Argentina Sunday in Miami.
And before I let you go at it here, okay, will you let me heap praise upon your Colombia?
Please
because
do.
I think that this Colombia team is awesome in a number of different ways. Past Colombia teams at times have lacked personality. I'll be honest with you. They've just been kind of, it's Colombia, you know? And I'm not discounting the Valderramas and even the Jameses and stuff like that. But this team has personality. I think this team also, from a practical perspective, I think this is the fittest team at the tournament. I think that this is the strongest from a physical perspective team in the tournament. When you look at someone like Mojica over there on that left-hand side and the work that he did tonight, it was just incredible. And to be able to go down to 10 men and ultimately to hang on, and let's be honest, they also could have probably scored 3 or 4 goals and really put this one away. They made it a whole lot closer than it needed to be. I think this says a lot about this Colombia team. And then you saw the passion and the emotion. I'm not talking about going up into the stands or anything like that, but the passion and the emotion of also a very pro-Colombian crowd. And your Colombians, they don't mess around. They bring it. And they brought it in Charlotte tonight and created an incredible atmosphere. Bodes well for the final, but also bodes well for 2026 when they qualify and they come back for 2026. So congratulations to your Colombia team. I thought that they were absolutely wonderful night, completely deserving against what a lot of people felt was the cream of the crop when it comes to Uruguay. So they did not mess around. You got your hat, you got your shirt, you got it all going on. All right, go ahead. How proud were you tonight of your team?
I was so incredibly proud. I've been proud not only in this Copa America, but the 27, now 28 games unbeaten streak that they've been able to pull off convincingly so. And not just against, let's say, the minnows and the tier 3 or 4 teams. They've been beating tier 1 teams, and it's their performances and every line possible, their defensive line, their midfield line, their attacking line, they've just been on such a run and so much confidence. And I think it's all driven by the heart and the engine, which is James Rodriguez. And today on our Fox Soccer Now show, I actually live translated James Rodriguez live interview, and he had a loss for words. He was so overcome with emotions. Tears were just flowing out of his eyes, which jerked emotions, even us on here in the studio. And he said just how much this means to him. And you think back about James Rodriguez and what he's been through. He went from being the golden boy at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, scoring that golazo that won the Puskas. And then all of a sudden, he's on top of the world, goes to Real Madrid, but then, goes to Bayern Munich, then Everton. Then all of a sudden, I think it was Qatar. And then after that, he's in Brazil at Sao Paulo, where he's only played, I believe, 10 minutes in the past 11 weeks. So imagine you're that type of player who has gone through so much in a decade, in 10 years. We're not talking about 1 bad season, 2 bad seasons, which us as former players have gone through that. You're talking about a decade of a lot of ups and downs and roller coasters. And for him to come to this moment and lead the Colombian national team to the Copa America final, that's just absolutely impressive. It's inspiring. It's motivating, not only for the Colombian national team and all the players that he's able to influence and just slip dimes with his passes and set pieces, but also for the country and the nation. He's convinced back a nation which he lost grasp of for a while. A lot of critics, a lot of journalists, a lot of fans.
You shut them up,
just,
though.
He finally was able to get his moment to shut everybody up and say, I'm here. I'm the footballer you have always been looking for, the 10 after Carlos Valderrama.
Now, the man sitting next to you, to your right there, is a huge Bielsa fan. I mean, it's really kind of disgusting.
Me too.
Okay, then both of you are, but
Yeah.
I'm not. Evidently, his plan A does not include an ability to win a game against, 10 men for more than half of the game. So what do you have to say for yourself, and what do you have to say for El Loco there?
No, I can't defend them. This campaign really flamed out. They looked like world beaters those first two games, albeit they were against Panama and Bolivia. But then I didn't even love the way they played against the U.S. Obviously, the Brazil game was one of the worst soccer matches any of us have ever seen. And then they lost tonight to a team that played with 10 men for half the match.
Also, now you're washing your hands of this Uruguay team.
I watched his entire pre-match press conference last night, 30 minutes, because I do find him to be a fascinating person to listen to. But that plan A, plan B comment was a bit of a head scratcher. I've never heard a coach say that before. He got kind of exposed tonight. Whatever his plan A was didn't work, and they had nothing else to fall back on.
Would you put that on him, or would you put that on Darwin Nunez and all they had opportunities. They could have been 2-0
Nunez
up
is an
or 2-1.
odd player, man.
Yeah.
He misses a lot of chances. I know he makes a lot of them too, but
Okay, so when it's the U.S., it's Greg Berhalter, but when it's Uruguay, it's the players. Is that how it works?
Yes, because Bielsa has a
Got it.
cool accent, which Berhalter
That's
lacks.
true. And he sits on the cooler and does the
Yes.
things, and okay, yeah.
Can I get back to James?
Yes, of course.
Because I was actually at the Maracanã 10 years ago when he scored those 2 goals against Uruguay in that round of 16 match. So was Judy Boyd, by the way. She had better seats than I did.
Yeah.
No, I too have been blown away by his performances. And Sunday's final, when you've got James on one side and Messi on the other, is going to be a left-footed playmaker orgy. But I do want to ask you, Melissa, you mentioned Colombia are unbeaten in 28. That sets their all-time record. They had a 27-match run in the early 90s, that great team with Valderrama, Rincon, Asprilla, et cetera, and they broke that tonight. You're plugged into the Colombian media. Is Nestor Lorenzo getting the credit he deserves? Because I'm enamored of the work he's doing. You look at that Colombia squad on paper, the names don't pop that much. The club pedigree isn't that impressive, and yet the team he's built, he's done an incredible job.
Yeah. At first when they named him head coach, because let's remember, he was the assistant coach to Peckerman, who led the Colombian national team to that 2014 World Cup and did wonders with the team. When they actually, after Peckerman, then they had Queiroz, and then they had someone else, and I can't remember the name. But when they named Nestor Lorenzo, there was a lot of critics. But at this point, I've been listening and chiming into a lot of the Colombian media, and everybody is obviously like just worshiping the man at this given point for going this long and putting a record to the unbeaten streak. So to answer your question, everybody in Colombia is just talking about 2 things. Actually 3. 1, Nestor Lorenzo, the head coach of Colombia. 2, the freaking song that Ryan Castro put out. Do you guys know the song yet? Mami, prende la radio, enciende la tele, no me molesta que juega la Sele. No? Well, you guys aren't feeling my vibe. All right. Maybe I got to do some shots of aguardiente. But that's the second song that's literally hitting, not only in Colombia, but around the world. I see fans in Europe acting like they're Colombian. They put on the jersey and they're like, this song hits. It's hilarious.
Who's the artist? What were we looking at?
Ryan Castro.
Ryan Castro.
Yeah, dude,
Okay.
it's hitting.
Good Colombian name.
The reason is
right?
because actually Luis Diaz, James Rodriguez, and Quintero are featured in the music video or in the song, and,
there you go.
and they rap. They rap
Cross
in the
promotion.
song.
They
Cross
rap
promotion.
too.
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick. If you have that much swag on your national team, you hitting songs like that. And the third thing that's really hitting off is this coffee.
Oh,
It's my
here
coffee.
we go. Here we go.
It's
I told you
Kickoff
she's an
Coffee.
entrepreneur. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Kickoff
Give us your
Coffee.
pitch.
We donate 10% of our profits to nonprofits around the world that use soccer as a tool for social development. Colombian coffee right here. And it's the only coffee that bridges top quality specialty coffee with the game of soccer that we all so dearly love. So Kickoff Coffee Co. Yeah,
Where can
that's
they get it? Where can they get it?
On Kickoff, www.kickoffcoffeeco.com or social media at Kickoff Coffee Co. I actually did a giveaway today, that in this jersey. So, I mean, it's pretty sick, but it's delicious. I'm not biased or anything, right?
Lex, I'm going to ignore this whole coffee
Okay,
bit.
I know.
This Ryan Castro guy
Yes.
must be Colombia's Drake.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. actually.
The Drake of
well,
Columbia.
no, actually, because Drake is not really liked at this given point. Kendrick
Okay.
Lamar is, but we'll talk about
he's
that another.
Columbia's Kendrick then. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's it.
Do you know that they're having a feud? I was told last night. The Kendrick character and this Drake guy are going back and forth. Okay, but not in any kind of violence, unless you call
Not like-
spitting rhymes, whatever. But unless you call that violence.
I'm dead. I mean, they're not spitting violence like the Darwin
Okay.
Nunez
Well,
up there with the Colombian fans.
I hope they get it sorted out. Those two
Me too.
young kids.
Me too.
Okay, let's move it on to the Euros over there. And our friends England, it's happening in that they are going to have the chance to have it coming home. They move on to the final. Just, a nutty type of game. I thought England was very good in the first half. I thought they were very bad in the second half. And ultimately, Ollie Watkins comes on the field and scores just a huge, huge goal to send them to the final. Sir Ollie Watkins is what I'm calling him now. Comes on, like I said, just a wonderful, wonderful goal. And whether it's Daniel Sturridge or anybody else out there, they are going crazy because they are back in yet another final with the opportunity to have it come home. Mossy, thoughts?
Can we circle back to the first half?
Sure.
Xavi Simons scored first for the Dutch, a wonderful goal. And then England equalized with a controversial penalty. Harry Kane shot and missed, and then in a follow-through, Denzel Dumfries caught him. After a VAR review, the referee gave a penalty. Kane converted. What did you think? It seems to be hotly debated.
Yeah, I mean, well, everybody understands that you can't go through somebody, right? And that's where I think that this one is one of these calls here because, Harry Kane shot the ball. Okay, so we already established that a soccer player can put his foot at that height and not be a foul, right? Because Harry Kane did that and shot the ball. But you also, as a soccer player, have the right to inhabit a space in front of somebody kicking the ball, which in this moment, that's what I thought it did. I didn't think it was going through Harry Kane. Now, if you kick the ball and then with your follow-through go into somebody, that's not necessarily a foul. But we've seen it called before in other places on the field. I'm sure it would have been called. So it was a little suspect. When I put it out there on X, which we know is the arbiter and we know is only reality, it came back basically 50-50 in terms of the way people viewed it. What'd you think?
I mean, you got to believe anything that is on the
Of course,
X, right?
it's got to be true.
I think it was granted the right decision. Yeah, I mean, you clearly saw his boot up like this, cleats up, and that's the rules that UEFA put out for this tournament this year.
Let me ask you both. Southgate, where is he in the pantheon? Where is he when we look at this? Because while he doesn't have that moment kind of raising the trophy, the guy's been freaking awesome for England relative to getting to semifinals, getting to finals, and being successful. And maybe he doesn't get the credit he deserves.
I put together a graphic for the pregame, which I was very proud of today, showing that this was England's third semifinal at a major tournament under Southgate. That was more than they had in the 46 years prior to his arrival. And they're now playing their first ever final not in England. The 66 World Cup and the last Euros were both at Wembley. So this is now two major finals under him. So, yeah, I think he's done an outstanding job. And even today, he made two big subs, bringing on Cole Palmer for Phil Foden and Ollie Watkins for Harry Kane. And lo and behold, Palmer with the assist, Watkins with the goal. So, yeah, I know he's had his critics. I know they're not always the most entertaining team to watch, but you're a guy that says it's all about results at the end. Hard to argue with Gareth Southgate.
I do, and I'm a guy that came on air when we started this tournament, and I said that when it comes to England, they are the Dallas Cowboys. And if you want to continue that, then let's be honest, they made the Super Bowl when it comes to England, and they are going to play. And in being the Dallas Cowboys of soccer, as many people watch because they hate them as love them, but everybody's going to tune in on Sunday, and it is going to be an interesting final. You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.